Hey, good afternoon. Good evening, I should say. Hey, this is Robert Jeter on the Blues in the News. Coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. It's Monday afternoon. It's getting warm here in Atlanta, Georgia. Spring is on the way. I try to go out, do my little jog, my little walk every morning, and it seems like every time I go out, I see more stuff blooming. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing indeed. So what have I got to tell you today? Um, well, I thought maybe I'd entitle this podcast. I was a little song. Did you like that little song that came in? Too much news. Yeah, it's one I did not too long ago. I wrote and produced. And it's true, we're getting too much news. But what we need now, it's not so much news, but we need justice now. That's what we really need because we don't get too much justice in this country right now because the deck is stacked against the patriots. The deck is stacked against the conservatives. The deck is stacked against the Constitution. The deck is stacked against those who believe in God. The deck is stacked against the white people. It's stacked against the Jews. It's stacked so many ways, and it's stacked by the crooked dealer who was Satan himself. How about that? Can I go that far? I mean, it does seem evil to me. I mean, I think Marxism is evil. Really do. I mean, it was started by Karl Marx, right? Yeah, I know he was Jewish, but look, most of the Jews are just the opposite. They're for God, and they were put on this earth. Really, I believe to set an example and to spread the light. They were given the Torah. They were given as the Christians would say, the Old Testament. But that's why the whole idea of one God came about, and it was through the Jews. Of course, you can go back to Abraham, and Abraham was the father of us all, I guess, the Muslims as well. But this whole concept of one God, it's been around for a long time. And if you look through the history of the world, through all these ages, it's only when the righteous are in power and respect the other religions as well, because there was, time during the Middle Ages when the Christians were in power, and you had and then you had, other empires after them, and they didn't respect other religions. So you have to have people who believe in God, but you have to have those people who respect other religions. And the Jews do. They never want to do away with the other religions. They want to live in peace with everybody, and they believe everybody, can be righteous, right? All you got to do is do the right thing. But we're well far away from that now. So what I'm saying is that we need justice to get us back on track, because there's too much hate out there. There's too much hate. A lot of it's coming from the black liberation people, the Marxist black liberation people. A lot of people is coming from the Muslims, the zealots, who are jihadist, because they have no sympathy, they have no compassion, they have no empathy for the other people who might believe differently than they do. And that's where we are. That's the state of affairs we are right now. And so the world is not going to last much longer this way. When you have such hate and evil in the world. But justice is going to come. Retribution is on the way. I mean, you see what's happening with these cases against Trump. How the case in Georgia, here in Georgia, is blowing up with Fannie Willis and her lover. And more up's coming out. Every day you see that there were whistleblowers that she fired that were, bringing to the light that there was so much corruption and graft and people, using the money for their own purpose. And the whole thing with Trump is that this is really being negotiated. This is really being carried out and being directed directly by the White House, by Biden. And I think in all these cases, now we just discovered recently. I mean, I was looking at Stephen Gardner's show. He's on YouTube. You check him out. He's a really good journalist. Had his own show out there. I think he's got almost 5 million followers right now. He was saying that they have proof, and from Bearheart News, I believe it came from, that there's this guy named Jeff DeSantis, who's really a mold for the Biden White House, and he's actually here in Atlanta directing the case against Trump. But now, of course, it's all blowing up. And I think the case in New York against Trump is going to blow up. But as the one in D.C., I think all those cases are eventually going to blow up because there's no crime, really. There's no, all these cases are just stretching the law, making up their own law, going against the Constitution, using woke judges and woke people in the court system to basically put down Trump because they know they can't win the election legally. Biden knows that. The people around Biden know that. How can you vote for a senile old guy who can hardly walk and talk, over someone who's maybe one of the best presidents we've ever had in this country? And the only way they can win is to try to rig the election again. But I think the Republicans might be aware of how it was stolen last time. They're still going to try to do it again this time, through the ballot box, through harvesting the mail, or whatever they do. And I hope the Republicans can prevent it, and at least less of it, prevent a good part of it. But they think, well, maybe that's not going to work this time. So let's put Trump away. Let's put him in jail. You know what I mean? So that's what they want to do, is to get rid of him through the courts, through lawfare. Well, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And the tide is turning. So you see with the Teamsters, all these truckers are supporting Trump. I guess they're going to do a boycott of New York. But the Teamsters usually votes for the left. And they voted for Obama. They voted for Biden, and Hillary. But this time, no, they're voting for Trump. So Trump has the workers. He has the middle class for him. He has the people who believe in the Constitution, the old school people. He has even the young kids are waking up. Haven't been so indoctrinated by their professors. I mean, if you look at the professors, like 90% support Biden because they're on the left. They're not supporting the guy. They're supporting communism. They're supporting Marxism. Marxism is deep, very deep in this country. Talk about the deep state. Well, it's all Marxist, mainly. And it's happened over years and years and years. Obama really opened the floodgates. But even before Obama, there were plenty of people preaching this nonsense, which it leads to disaster, destruction, and death. As we see all the wars in the world now, and all poverty and everything, and all these people coming in through the border. Most of them are criminals. A lot of them are criminals anyway. I mean, it's true. They open up the gates. They open up, the prisons in these countries, in South America and other countries, even in Africa, and they're just sending them all here. And it's all a plan. I mean, it's all a plan by the left here to repopulate the United States of America and to get rid of the traditional white guy. This is a whole guy, and the Jews they don't like either, of course. So that's the whole purpose of DEI and all this wokeism, is to make an elitist, communist, socialist, Marxist state where you really don't have freedom to talk. You really don't have freedom to say what you want to say. I mean, they might say, "Oh, it's democracy," but it's democracy. How they define democracy is that in order to establish and keep their institutions, you have to toe the line. You have to talk their talk and walk their walk. That's the only democracy they believe in. Of course, that's not really democracy, but they don't. They turn everything upside down and pervert the terms. They pervert everything, and they lie and they lie and they lie and they lie. They always lie because they can't tell you the truth. Because well, even when they tell you the truth, People don't believe it sometimes. Because people can be naive, but I hope you're not naive. Anyway, that's my 2 cents for the evening. I'm not going to stay too much longer, but this is Bob Jeter on the Robert Jeter Show, News and the Blues. And here we go, play a little tune I'm working on called Band with a Mission. See you next time.
Came from the other side of the river deep. Come from the mountain where they connive with their feet. And the mountain was lifted way up over the head. And Dylan didn't say it, I'll say it instead. Man with a mission, they was living life for their king. When they saw the waters parting, they chose a new song to sing. And the mighty army was swallowed up by the sea. No one else will sing it, might as well be me. They were a band with a mission and a cause. A band of gold men, they were laying down the law. They were a band that made the right first roll. A band with a mission to sing. The greatest story ever told. Take me back to the future, I wanna see what the story ends. Some tell me it ended just where it will begin. With a man with a mission that cut a big deal with a ball. I'd write another verse, babe. You just might get lost.